Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's an update on my pure Shaddoll deck. So yes, I am still running the Invoke variant, but I wanted to bring you guys an update on this variant because Called by the Grave went to 1, so I had to completely scrap that card now that it's not going to do anything now because it's too sacky at 1, and plus right now I don't have any triple tactics talents. I did have at least one copy, but I sold it, so yeah, trying to work on getting those, but for right now I actually found some other options, which me personally I like a little bit better anyway, so I'm probably not going to invest on tactics talents right now, at least until it drops down a little bit, or at least until we get an unlimited edition Rise of the Duelist set. But for right now, I like this deck the way it is, and there's a lot of cool tech options I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So anyway, don't want to keep you guys waiting. Let's go and get started. All right, so the main deck's still 40 cards, so starting off with Shaddoll Windy. This is easily the best Shaddoll monster in the entire deck. Aaron already knows what this does. This is the one that basically special summons from deck, depending on which version of the effect you use, the flip or the graveyard effect. So, yeah. 3 Squamata can pop monsters, or it can also, actually, if I'm not mistaken, this card can pop any card, actually, if I'm not mistaken, if it's flipped. Oh, no, just monsters. Okay, yeah, just monsters only. Dragon's the one that bounces back cards. But anyway, yeah, Squamata pops monsters only. And usually the only way you mainly use them is just to use this effect to send any Shaddoll card to the graveyard. So it's a good way to send your spells, your trap cards, whatever you want. 2 Hedgehog. This is your main searcher. For the 1-ofs, 1 Beast, 1 Dragon to deal with back row mainly. And of course Falco. Falco puts in a lot of work, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, definitely one of the best extenders. And of course we can't forget Ariel. Ariel is just the fact that she's a 3/1 DD Crow, and also what's really cool is that she can bring back your banished Shaddoll monster. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites. But honestly, just 1 is more than enough. All right, now moving on to the side engine. Running 3 Math. I'm actually expecting the ultra rare blues from the recent Dragons of Legend complete series set. So hopefully I'll get those in the mail pretty soon. I should have them sometime next week, but for right now I'm just sticking with the commons until I get them. But yeah, definitely a great Foolish Burial card itself. I'm not running Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is just too, it's too strict with Dark Monsters, unfortunately, and sometimes that's not always good. And with Math, the fact that he's an Earth Monster, and if I have Shaddoll Fusion, it's just a better way to dodge cards like Effect Veiler or even Impermanence. So yeah, to me, Mathematician is just the better one. Plus, it has a better floating effect. If it's destroyed by battle, you get to draw 1 card, so bonus. I'm also running the Performages, 1 Damage Juggler, 1 Trick Clown. You really don't need any more than this. I might eventually bring back Hat Trigger, but for right now, I like the way it is. I think this is perfect. And yes, I am actually running the Dragoon engine, 1 Dark Magician, 1 Red Ice Black Dragon. They're definitely really good. And honestly, they're also pretty good with your Shaddoll Schism. So after you use Red Ice Fusion, you set the Schisms. You can use either one of these as Dark Fusion material for your Shaddoll Winda. So yeah, not too bad. All right, next for hand traps, I'm actually running the Gammas. Of course, you got to run the 1 driver, but I personally think that this is the best hand trap for the format, considering that 1, it's a light monster, so it's really good for your construct, and the fact that it's not a hard once per turn. So yeah, it's just like a really good way for disruption. And what's also really cool is that you can use this to, like, one thing I do like to use this card for is that I like to bait out Ash Blossom with Shaddoll Fusion. If I go first and I open up with the Shaddoll Fusion, I usually like to play that, bait out my opponent, and you can essentially stop it with this card. So yeah, definitely a good way to deal with hand traps. So I guess you could say this is like another version of Called by the Grave in a way. So yeah, not too bad. And of course, 3 Impermanents. All right, now, oh, and one thing, if you don't have Impermanence, you could also run Effect Veiler. Again, Called by the Grave is at 1, so you really don't have to worry about it as much anymore. So yeah, Effect Veiler is just Impermanence, just cheaper. All right, so now moving on to spells. I'm running 3 Shaddoll Fusion. Definitely the best card going second. 3 Shaddoll Fusion, my personal favorite, honestly. It's a quick play polymerization, so can't go wrong with that. 3 Super Poly, not respondable, and it's actually pretty good this format because, like, against like Eldritch, you use their Golden Lord for your Shaddoll construct, and for Noble Knights, go for Grista, and you know, like I said, like just kind of be creative with it. And for the 1-ofs, of course, got the 1 Red Ice Fusion. Still got to run it for the Verte Anaconda mainly, but even if you hard draw this, it's not the worst thing in the world because you can essentially just play this, bring out Dragoon, and set one of your Shaddoll monsters, and you're good to go. Next one, Foolish Burial. And then for the traps, 2 Shaddoll Incarnation. And of course, 1 Shaddoll Schism. I love this card. This card's freaking annoying. So during the main phase, you can fusion summon a Shaddoll monster. Shaddoll Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing the materials from field or grave. Of course, it can't attack directly, but it's also really good for spot removal because it does not target and it does not destroy. You could send 1 monster your opponent controls to the grave of the same attribute as the monster you summon. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. And considering that, again, it doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, you can easily get around a lot of cool things. So like against Dragoon, you can easily out the Dragoon if you bait out the negate, and yeah, definitely something to look into. So yeah. All right, moving on to the extra deck. Extra deck's pretty self-explanatory. Now, this might be a gutsy move, but I decided to cut Shaddoll Construct to only 2, simply because I never really see the third. And plus, it's easily recyclable with cards like Shaddoll Incarnation. You can bring it back and then just kind of like use its effect again. But anyway, the reason I decided to cut it to 2, because again, 3 just, well, mainly because extra deck base is just too tight. So, and I needed to make room for other super poly targets. So that's kind of my only reason for that. But who knows, maybe I'll bring her back to 3. I'll just have to figure out what I want to cut. But for right now, I like it as it is. Next 2 Winda, you know, still pretty standard. 1 App Cologne, definitely one of my personal favorite fusion monsters now because the fact that she could permanently negate and can't be destroyed in battle, so definitely a good brick wall. 1 Shekinaga, can negate effects. 1 Grissa, this is mainly for the Infernal Noble Knights, but it's also good against Salads. But yeah, mainly for Infernal Noble Knights, since, you know, they're fire monsters, you can super poly their gear feed away and just, you know, go from there. Other super poly targets, well, mainly 1. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I mean, Darks are literally the most popular attributes, so yeah, definitely a great one to go with. Of course, can't go wrong with Dragoon since I am running the Red Ice Fusion materials. Now, for those who've been wanting to play the Red Ice Fusion material and trying to find some kind of budget alternative to Dragoon, one that I can think of personally could be Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. That card actually has a pretty solid effect. You'd have to run Summoned Skull in place of Dark Magician, but hey, look it up, see what you guys think, and if it's something you want to try as a budget alternative to Dragoon, you know, I say go for it. It's definitely, they're both really good. Dragoon's just surprisingly better, but hey, it's up to you guys. Anyway, that's it for the fusion monsters. Let's go and move on. All right, so for the Link monsters, of course, got to run 1 Verte Anaconda. 1 is generally all you ever need. 1 Cross Sheep. I'm so happy this got a hollow upgrade, so yeah. 1 Shaddoll Construct. Not really required anymore, but I still personally like it because it's a light monster, and plus it can use itself as fusion material. And it's just like it's just its own polymerization, basically, so not too bad. 1 Gravity Controller, you know, it's Neospatian ground mold, basically. 1 Cyframe Lord Lambda. This just enables you to use the Cyframe Gear Gammas from your hand. And the fact that if one of those cards get banished, you could add another Cyframe Gear Gamma directly from your deck to your hand, so not too bad. Usually just make sure you always keep that driver, like use that as your fusion material if you have to, and just let the other one get banished. So yeah, like that's generally how I like to use it. And lastly, 1 Boral Sword Dragon, you know, just to go for the OTK. And yeah, that's it. All right, now moving on to the side deck. Side deck, I'm running 3 copies in the Nibiru. In case if I am forced to go second. Well, generally I do want to go second. This is a going second deck naturally, but depending on what I'm up against, Nibiru might not always work because sometimes you never know if you're going to deal with a back row heavy strategy. So I just prefer it as a side deck option instead. But if I do see a combo deck, then, you know, now I know it's a side end, you know. I'm also running the Artifact Scythe, and you can't go wrong with Sanctums. Even if though I'm running 1 Scythe on the side, 3 Sanctums still go because your opponent pops it, you get to essentially punish them by popping a card they control. So yeah, not too bad. 3 Dark Ruler, no more, you know, this is pretty standard. 2 Cosmic Cyclone, and of course, for fun, I'm running Harpy's Feather Duster. And last but not least, 2 copies of Evenly Matched just to break boards. Definitely an amazing card, and yeah, that's generally it. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.